Good evening to one and all. Welcome you all to the daily current affairs session brought to you by Ganesh IAS Academy for the date 12th August 2023 for the news which came in Indian Express newspaper. Okay, let's get into the today's current affair discussion. Okay. Okay, without laurels. This was the article which appeared in today's Indian Express. So what does it deals about is right now the central government has withholded the Bhatnagar award given by the CSIR, a scientific research organization under Government of India, to the young scientist at the age of who are below the age of 45, so that it is the act of recognizing the talent across the country, specifically in the research field. But the central government has withheld this year's award function. Why is that? Because what the response has been given by the central government is that they have been in the process of reforming the selection criteria for the award. Right now it has been it is having some lacunae of transparency as well as accountability issues, and also the selection criteria has been very subjective, so that most of the time the person those who need to be acknowledged were not getting acknowledged, and those persons who have done very little amount of scientific work have been getting acknowledged. So this was the reason given by the government for the reform that is taking place in the Bhatnagar award, which is given by CSIR. Because of the reformation process which is right now under process, this year's Bhatnagar award, which is to be given by the CSIR, has been put on hold. So this was the news. This is the news as well as the reason given by the government in response to the news. Okay. So why we needed to study this article is that it is related to civil service exam. How it is related to civil service exam is that it is related to UPSC mains paper GS3 in science and technology. Under the science and technology a subtopic called achievements of Indians in science and technology. So under this subheading of the science and technology, this news will be coming. So we need to be aware of the news which came in today's Indian Express newspaper. And when the CSIR will be giving this Bhatnagar, Shanti Swarup and Bhatnagar award is that during the foundation day of CSIR. So the foundation day is September 26. It will be given to the young scientist, that is person those who are below at the age of 45. And the award was put on hold, as I said, because of the rationalizing effort by the government, that is to reduce the subjective bias in the selection process and also increase the transparency as well as accountability in the selecting the persons for the awards. And why the government gives not only the Bhatnagar award for the scientists, for the people those who are achieved in the scientific field, but also other awards for the scientific achievement is main reason is that they wanted to reduce the brain drain that is happening in India. What is the reason for brain drain is, the first is because there is a lack of opportunities for scientists in India, income opportunities. So that is why they are going to other developed country which is providing them with more opportunities as well as with the higher packages, income packages. Second is there is lack of recognition among the society. So if a person is taking a career in science and technology field, particularly in India, means it is that it will take some decades to make some milestone achievement in the science and technology field, which our society does not allow most of the time. Because of the societal pressure, the people are getting migrated to other westernized countries, particularly Western Europe as well as Northern America, where they could able to work very freely as well as liberally. And the other reason is because of the high standard of living that is present in the developed country. And other main reason is the ease of migration policy by the developed country. The developed country are easing their migration policy so that they could able to attract the talent, skilled resource that is present across the world. So these are all the main reasons why the brain drain is happening in India. So in order to reduce the brain drain as well as to enhance the people, that is to enhance the scientific research that needed to be happening in India, the awards are given to the scientific achievements in India so that they will get recognized not only by the government but also by the society, as a result of which they will get a high motivated morale to work in the society for the betterment of the country as well as the society as the whole. Second is that right now India is moving towards knowledge economy. What is the knowledge economy? Is the production of goods as well as services by knowledge intensive activities. So such kind of goods or services which is produced by knowledge intensive activity and it is helping the economy for its betterment as well as for its growth, means such kind of economy is called as knowledge based economy. And India is right now, because of the transformation that is happening in India and also because of the transformation that is happening across the globe. The transformation, what I am saying is that digital transformation as well as the other technological transformation which enables the democratization of knowledge so that people could able to easily access the knowledge through digital media, so that the knowledge as well as capability of the particular human, that is human capability, that is human capital potential, will get increased, so that the countries right now is the transformation phase towards the knowledge economy. And after getting converted into knowledge economy, then the goods and services that is produced by the intense knowledge based activities are called as and that goods and service needed to contribute significantly for the growth as well as betterment for the particular country. Such kind of situation will be, such kind of economy or the situation is called as knowledge economy. And by recognizing the scientists with this kind of awards, they will get motivated to work in the scientific field, particularly in India. So it will lead to many number of scientific achievements as well as innovations which will enable to transform our country into a knowledge based economy. Third is the career advancement. Right now, if a particular person is being recognized through these kind of awards by the government, means he could able to enrich his career with the help of the awards. And then it shows the priority of nation. If the nation or a country as a whole is recognizing the citizen citizens scientific effort means, then we could able to know that, we could able to conclude that the country is giving more importance to the scientific field. It will create an image that the country is showing some more importance to the scientific community that is present in across the nation. So the nation means we, our society only, because on the behalf of our only the government is ruling us. So it shows the priority of nation. Indirectly it shows the priority of the society by giving the award. So we are priority means the value. So we are giving high priority to the scientific achievements in the country. By recognizing the scientific community with this award, we are deliberately showing that we are recognizing, we are giving importance to the scientific innovation as well as achievement. This will send a strong message to the upcoming young scientists as well as young mind people, and it will inspire them also. So these are all the major reasons why the awards, particularly in relation to scientific field, has been given in India. So what are all the major initiative that is taken by government to stop the brain drain in India is, okay, right now India follows three-pronged strategy. That is developing, for the first strategy is developing the scientific infrastructure as well as scientific environment. Across the nation. The second strategy is that they wanted to create an environment so that the foreign scientists as well as the NRIs, those who are working as scientists in the other countries, will come and contribute to the scientific innovation in India. To work in India. NRI means the scientist NRIs, those who are working as scientists in other countries. And then creating the opportunities for those students, those who are for doing research in the postdoctoral studies. For those who do postdoctoral research or studies. So this three-pronged strategy has been followed by government of India to reduce the brain drain in India, and there are some other schemes which is being implemented by government to promote the scientific research as well as innovation in India, and also the related career in India, so that the brain drain will be stopped. First is the extramural funding scheme. The extramural funding scheme is the scheme being implemented by Department of Science and Technology to fund the scientific infrastructure, labs, research and development, academies, institutions, universities, etc., so that the science field could get promoted in India, and then fellowship programs for the students. Then the fund for improvement in science and technology infrastructure in universities as well as higher educational institutions, FIST. From the name itself, we could be able to know that increase the scientific laboratories as well as R&D infrastructure in the universities and higher educational institutions. And also a core research grant. Core research grant is, there are certain research which is very important for the overall growth of the country. Such kind of research will be granted, will be provided grant under this scheme. And research fellowship such as J.C. Bose and Swarna Jayanti, and to promote young people, youngsters to in the science and technology field, and also to enhance their motivation to work in the field. So startup research grant has been created. National Postdoctoral Fellowship of Science and Engineering Research Board to promote the postdoctoral fellowship in India. And MK Ban Young Research Fellowship Program of Department of Biotechnology. Biotechnology is also kind of department where the research related to the biotechnology sector will be happening. So such department is giving a research fellowship, is implementing the research fellowship program to encourage youngsters to take up the research activities in the biotechnology. Visiting Advanced Joint Research Faculty Scheme, OBSERV, that is those scientists, those who are working in the foreign, through the scheme they will be facilitated to come to India and work in collaboration with our Indian scientists, so that the sharing of knowledge as well as technology will take place, and it will enable to enrich of both of them. And merit based promotion in certain scientific departments. So merit based promotions scheme has been introduced in certain scientific departments to promote the recognition for merit oriented promotion, so that the merit will be recognized in the department. So it will act as motivating factor to the persons to work very hard for the scientific development as well as achievement in the government sector. So this is what the important schemes and three-pronged strategy that has been followed by India to stop the brain drain across India. And we have to look into, since the news is related to CSIR, we have to look into what is it, some factual part of it also. It was established in 1942, and the Ministry of Science and Technology is the funding ministry for it, and then it is the autonomous body registered under Societies Registration Act 1860. And the structure of the organization is that PM will be the president and Ministry of Science and Technology will be the vice president. And then there will be a governing body. The Director General of CSIR will be heading it, and the governing body will have other members also, that is the Secretary to Government of India and also other ex officio members, non ex officio members, who will be having a tenure of 3 years. And then CSIR advisory body. The CSIR advisory bodies will have 15 members whose role is to advise the governing body in implementation of the projects as well as schemes in relation to the CSIR. And it will have 15 members, and their tenure will be 3 years. The same 3 years for the non ex officio member of they also have 3 years. So these are all the important thing related to. So this is the name of the award that has been withheld by the government for the reform of the selection criteria. Okay, Swantini Swarup Bhatnagar was Swantini Swarup Bhatnagar was a person or the scientist in India. Under his name only the Swantini Swarup Bhatnagar award was given in India to the youngsters for recognizing the scientific activity that is happening in India. And who is he? Swantini Swarup was the founding director of CSIR, and he played some important role in formulation of science and technology policy during the initial period of our country, that is after independence. And he is the first chairman of University Grants Commission, and he is also Padma Awardee during 1950s. Excuse me. So what we need, these are all the important reasons, explanation about the CSIR as well as the Swantini Swarup Bhatnagar, under whose name the award has been given. So what we needed to study further is, we should know about the same from the same structure which we have studied the CSIR, we should study the ICMR also. So what is the structure, what is the functioning, and what are all the awards being given by ICMR, and what it is right now doing. Second is, we should know about the Department of Biotechnology. What is the projects as well as schemes being implemented by Department of Biotechnology, and what is the current status of those schemes as well as projects that is being implemented. And third is, we should know about National Research Foundation, a bill to create a separate R&D body has been passed in Parliament recently, monsoon session. So we have to have a look into it also. These are all the other peripheral areas which we needed to study, so that we could able to have a holistic idea in relation to the news which we have seen right now on the slides. Okay, let's discuss about the UPSC mains question which was asked in relation to the news which we have seen today. Scientific research in India university is declining because a career in science is not as attractive as business professions, engineering or administration, and the universities are becoming consumer oriented. Critically examine 10 marks. The point which we have discussed in the previous slides could also be used for this question also. So I want those students, those who are watching the current affairs session online, please do comment answer point for the question you are seeing right now on the board. The Barbenheimer spectre. The Barbenheimer spectre. First, the Barbenheimer is the terminology right now which was used across the internet because of the combined release of the Barbie as well as Oppenheimer film. They both were released on the same day. So in Hollywood, they were called as Barbenheimer. So the author tried to explain this article with the Barbenheimer terminology. So what the author is trying to explain is that right now the data protection bill is passed in the Parliament. So the author has critically evaluated the data protection bill. How she has evaluated is that right now the technologies, policies will be influencing each other. The policy will be influencing the technological development. The technological development will in turn influence the policy making in India. This will not be stopped hereafter, but there have to be some balance. That is, the policy needed, the goal of the policy will be in either of two parts only. The first part is Barbenheimer future. The second part is that equitable digital society future. If the bill which gives more importance to the technological solutions and it is more obsessive towards the technology means, and it is and it wants the every solution needed to be achieved through technology means, such kind of bill will be called as Barbenheimer bill, and the future that will lead to will be called as Barbenheimer future. And if the bill that focus more on people's right, people's privacy, and people's equitable access to the digital technology, if the data protection bill contains these kind of provision means, then it will be leading to a future called as equitable digital society future. So if in data protection bill, the future will be either in one of the two only, which I have said. But the bill which was introduced right now what the author feels is that it will be leading to Barbenheimer future, where the technology will be given over stress. The technology will be given more importance than the privacy, as well as human equitable access to the technology, as a result of which the surveillance, data leaks and various forms of exclusion will be taking place in the society. See, similarly, how the Oppenheimer bomb has been created on the background. Oppenheimer bomb will be created by a group of scientists on the background. Similarly, the law, the nexus between the technical experts, bureaucracy, as well as politicians will be choosing what kind of technology will be better, will enable, as well as will enable the smooth adaptation in the country. They will be choosing how the Oppenheimer bomb has led to a disaster. If the country is stressing only on technology for every kind of solutions like sovereignty, rights, as well as everything, every good of the people means, then it will be leading to a disaster like surveillance, data leaks, various forms of digital exclusions. Such kind of negative outcomes will be the result. But in the case of it do in the Oppenheimer style bill, it on the one side the policy makers will be doing this, on the other side the citizens will be concentrated more on the technologies, and they will get addicted to technologies where they themselves will be providing data as the fodder to the technological giants, where they will not be regulated or be prevented because of the over obsession to the technologies. And if the on the other hand, if the bill focus more on human rights like privacy and also enabling the people to get equitably access to technology means, then it will be leading to digital inclusion, equitable access, respecting the privacy, safeguarding the citizen against any kind of digital threats. So these kind of good things will be happening if the bill stresses more on the equitable access to the technology by the citizen. So either these two only the bill should have to be, but the bill, data protection bill, which was passed right now, is focusing on more on the technology, and it has provided more exemptions to the state as well as state agencies in the name of national securities. Where there is a chance that our state will be turning into the surveillance state, and the data leaks, as I said, data leaks and the breach of the privacy will become reality. So this was the critique being raised by the author in relation to the data protection bill, which was passed recently in the parliament. So how the news is related to this exam is, it is related to GS paper 2, particularly in the topic called governance. Under governance, more specifically in a subtopic called government policies and intervention for development in various sectors and issues arising out of their designs and implementation. So under this topic only the news will be coming. So we have to be link the news with this topic in the syllabus, and we should need to see it accordingly. Okay. Apart from the critics which I have explained in relation to the news, let's discuss about what are all the previous legislation that was in India to regulate data protection, and what are all the challenges it faced? The previous law to regulate the data protection is Information Technology Act 2000, and it was initially made to regulate the computers as well as networks that was present across the country. But as the day progressed, because of the evolution of technology, an amendment was passed in 2009, where enabling provision for e-commerce, e-governance and preventing of cyber crime has been inserted into the Information Technology Act 2000. Then why they are bringing another law in the place of the IT Act 2000 is that it has some flaws, that is, it has some negative outcomes also. What kind of negative outcome is that? It has some privacy issues. Right now, after the 2017 Puttaswamy case, the right to privacy has become a fundamental right. So the law is not in tune to deal with privacy as the fundamental right. Second is, this law is not meant to regulate cyber crimes that is happening in India right now, because we all know that the technology has been evolved tremendously in the last decade. So the nuances of cyber criminal activities that is happening now could not be regulated by the law that was formed about a decade ago. So the amendment was passed in 2009. Right now we are in 2023. So more number of technological cyber related evolution has been happened in India as well as across the world. There are several dimensions of cyber criminal activities that is happening across the world, but this law is not in tune to regulate that such kind of high-end cyber related criminal activity that is happening in India and also across the world. And the law does not provide specialist or expertized person who could able to deal with such kind of cyber criminal activity that is happening in India. See that the law mentions about the police only. The police will be acting as the enforcement agency in relation to the protection of cyber criminals. But most of the police across the India are generalists. They have some lag in the technical expertise in relation to these cyber related activities. So this law does not provide any kind of person who could able to specifically deal with, persons means expertized person who could able to specifically deal with the cyber related crimes in India. Fourth is splinternet. Right now the world is dividing itself into the small networks which is based on the country. Why it is the entire network is getting break down to the country wise network is that because of rising tide of nationalism, rising tide of trade disputes, rising tide of intellectual property rights, and so these are all the reasons which made the network to get localized. For example, the Chinese firewall is the great example, where the network will be based only on China. So this law does not recognize this kind of splinter net that is happening across the world, particularly in India also. So because of this kind of law, the new data protection bill came, which will be regulating our cyber related activities from here on. So what does the bill says? The bill says the personal data will be collected based on the consent from the individual. A prior notice needed to be given to the individual from whom the details will be collected, and the individual through this notice need to be informed what kind of details they are going to collect from him, and you have to give the consent from him. You have to give the consent to collect the data from him. If he is not given the consent, means then no authority have the right to collect the data from the person. There is some exemption for consent. There are certain individuals who they themselves voluntarily will give the information. Such kind of voluntary informations will not need consent. And in the case of medical emergency, there is no need for consent for collecting data. Then in the case of government, if the government is providing any kind of services to enable or increase the standard of living of the people, and so that the betterment of the society could be reached, means such kind of service that is provided by government doesn't require consent from the individual for collecting the data. Then in relation to employment, so the details related to the employment of the person could be collected without the consent from him. Then the right to individual, it provides certain kinds of right, that is an individual can able to obtain information about the processing of his data, and also he could able to seek correction anytime during the processing, and then erase certain data during the time of processing, and he could nominate other person to look into his processing of data. If the particular person whose data has been processing, or if he has given to somebody, means if he has given to somebody has died, means he could able to nominate other person if he is died, and the individual has the right for the grievance redressal mechanism. So if any digital entity or data fiduciary companies or intermediaries are not having grievance redressal, means the individual have the right to approach the court to bring the grievance redressal in those organizations which deals with data of the individual. Data fiduciaries, what the bill says about data fiduciaries, that they need to have accuracy in their data. Second, they needed to ensure that the data which they are handling does not lead to any kind of breach, or there should not be any kind of data leakages that should be happening in the company. And then if any kind of data leaks or data theft that has happened in the company, means that data fiduciaries needed to inform the boards as well as the person whose data has been stolen or whose data has been breached should be informed, along with the board, that is data protection board. And fourth important function that the data fiduciary needed to do is that once the purpose of the data for which it was collected is met, means then the data needed to be erased by the data fiduciary. And the personal data transfer, the personal data could be transferred outside the India, to those countries that is permitted by India, and not to those countries which is not permitted by government of India. And then the new data protection bill provides a specialized board called Data Protection Board, whose chairman will be appointed by central government. So this data protection board will act as the implementing agency for the provision of the bill, and they will be hearing the dispute in relation to any kind of grievance. And then there is the penalty if the obligation in relation to children related data protection is not correctly maintained by any company or any entity, means then they will be fined up to 200 crore rupees. Or if the obligation other than children are not met by the companies, means they will be fined up to 250 crores. So what is the criticism that is been going around in the bill is that there are exemptions for state agencies, because in the name of national securities as well as friendly relation with other countries and public order, the government can go can make a go ahead to any kind of state agency to acquire the personal data of the particular individual. So this national security, this public order, and the friendly relationship with other country are vaguely defined. So this gives the upper hand to the state in relation to access of the access to the personal data of the individuals. Appointment of board is made by government. If any kind of government entity is breaching, has done some privacy related issues, means if a particular individual who has been affected by this, by that privacy breach or issue, means if he is approaching the board, means the board chairperson itself will be appointed by the government. So if there is any grievance against the government or government entity, means there will be surely some bias, because he himself will be appointed by the government. How he could able to give an order against the government? So there will be some conflict of interest. So this is the second criticism. Third is dilution of RTI Act 2005. See, right now under RTI Act 2005, we could able to access the personal details about the administrative officials, but this bill dilutes it. That is, it protects the person, that is officials, the government officials personal data, so that the government officials personal data could not able to be hereafter accessed through RTI Act 2005, and it violates the right to forgotten the principle. Right to forgotten principle is the principle in which a person or individual will decide to what extent the data needed to be taken from him. So this right has been violated, because it is either binary only, it is consent or no consent. So there need to be middle path, right to forgotten, and right to adequate standard to check the data safety. So the bill is allowing the data to be transferred to other countries, which is allowed by Government of India, but there is no mechanism to ensure that the data which is allowed to transfer in that country will have some cyber security safety or not. Such kind of mechanism is absent in the bill. So how they will be checking whether the particular country in which the data has been processed will have the sufficient data safety protocols or not? That such kind of mechanism has not been mentioned in the act. So these are all the criticism that has been kept against the data protection bill. So this is what the news in relation to data protection bill is about. Let's look into what are the other things which we needed to study further. First is we should know about what is GDPR. Second is we should know about US and China model to protect data. Third is we should know about the Data Service Act and Digital Market Act. Fourth is we should know about cyber architecture of India. So these are all the other things which we needed to be aware of. So UPSC prelims question which was asked in relation to the news that we have seen right now. Which one of the following adopted a law on data protection and privacy for its citizen, known as General Data Protection Regulation in April 2016 and started implementing of it from 25th May 2018? This is the European Union. It is the pioneer in regulating the data protection. So it started from European Union only, and from then on, from that country, from that union, it is spread to other countries also. Right now every country is on the mode to regulate the data. Examine the scope of fundamental rights in the light of latest government judgment of the Supreme Court on right to privacy. So 250 words, 50 mark question. Please do comment answer point on the news question that we are seeing right now on the. Okay, another news is factory output at 3-month low on slow manufacturing as well as high base effect. See, right now the National Statistical Office under Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation has released the Index of Industrial Production Report, in which it is said that the industrial production has grown by 3.1 percentage only. Sorry, 3.7 percentage only, but under it the manufacturing subsector, which occupies 77 percentage of weightage of the index of industrial production, has seen a growth of 3.1 percentage in comparison to the 12.9 percentage in the same year, in the same month of the previous year. It is because of the lower manufacturing output as well as higher base effect. The higher base effect means whenever the 2 points excuse me when 2 points have been compared, means if one for example, consider year 2016, 2017 and 2018, in which the manufacturing sector has seen 100 percentage growth, and in 2017 it is seen on 112 percentage growth, and it is 2018 it has seen 114 percentage growth. So when compared to 17, when we are seeing the 2017 growth in comparison to the 2016 growth, means we could able to come to a conclusion that the 2017 has seen a growth of 12%. But when we are comparing 2018 to 2017, we could able to clearly see that even though it has increased by 114%, but when we are comparing it with the 112%, it will be some 1% or 2% increase only. So this is called base effect, high base effect. So when we are comparing to one year with the another year, and that year which we are comparing with the current year is having higher growth rate, means then correspondingly this year will be showing the lower growth rate. The growth will be there in not in the percentage term, in the quantitative term we could able to see that the growth will be higher than the previous year, but in terms of percentage, this year's growth will be lesser than the previous year growth because of the higher amount of growth it has seen in comparison with that previous, that is in relation to 2016. In relation to the example, it is 2016. So when it is 12% increase, but we are comparing 2018 to 2016, means we could able to see that it is 14% increase, but when we compare it with 2018 with 2017, means it is merely 1 or 2% increase only. In the among the 23 subsector under the manufacturing sector, only 13 subsector has seen a marginal growth, and then in the infrastructure activity has seen some little growth because of the increased capital expenditure by the government. So this is what the details in relation to the news. So how we should relate this news with the UPSC syllabus is that it will be related to UPSC GS3 economic development. Under the economic development, a topic called Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and employment. So about index of industrial production, which was released by National Statistical Office to measure the changes in the production of industries, and among the weightage that is given to the industries, some 8 core industries will be having 40.27% of weightage. These core industries are very essential for the growth and development of the country, so they are considered as core industry, and its base year is 2011 as well as 12. So this is what the detail, and the components under the industrial production are divided on the two types. One is broad based sector, or use-based sector. So under broad-based sector, it is mining. It is further divided into mining, manufacturing, and electricity. And if the industries have been divided into use-based sector, means it will be further subdivided into basic goods, capital goods, and intermediate goods. So this is what the details in relation to index of industrial production is about. So what is the significance of this IIP index is that the data that released by the IIP index will enable the policy maker to know what went wrong, or what kind of positive that has been happened in the industry, so that it will be acting as valuable policy input. Second is, through this data we could able to estimate our future growth and also re-estimate our past as well as present growth. And then it will be very useful information for those investors who wanted to invest in industries in India. And then it will enable the sectoral analysis across the industries. Which sector has went down, which sector has went up, what is the reason for the sector that has gone down, what is the reason for the sector that is went up. This kind of analysis could be done with the help of the IIP index. What is the criticism that IIP index faces is that it is narrow in scope, because the data collected is based mainly on the most of the organized sectors. It neglects the data from the informal sectors, which is the backbone for our country, and most of the people's livelihood depends on the informal sectors only. So it completely neglects the informal sector. So its scope is related to the organized sector, which so that it is narrow in scope. The data from the limited source. The data is collected from mining, manufacturing, and electricity, and in sometimes it neglects the construction as well as service related activities. So it is limited to certain sectors only, and no information on quality. The index produces data on output of the industry, not on the quality of the output of the industry. And then it publishes several weeks after the data, after the month only. For example, the data that has been released now is the month of June. Right now we are in August, so it will be released several weeks later only. So it does not reflects the current trend that is happening now. Then we should discuss about the industrial policy 1991 of India. See, through this policy there is de-reservation of public sector. There is, because there was certain sectors, most number of sectors have been reserved for the public sectors only, but because of the industrial policy it was de-reserved and the private sectors were allowed to participate. So but right now only at the atomic as well as the railway sectors are being reserved for public sector. Second is delicensing. There are certain industries which was before the 1991 policy needed to get license, that is the license charge system, to start their activities. But after the 1991 policy, there are certain apart from the certain sectors, the other sectors doesn't need the licensing to start the project. What is the sector that needed license even now is that the hazardous chemical manufacturing company, the explosive manufacturing company, the arms manufacturing company, and then finally the tobacco manufacturing companies. These need license even now. And disinvestment of public sector. So government wanted to promote the private sector in the private sector participation in the economy, so that management as well as technology as well as innovation will be infused into the industries. So that is the reason why disinvestment of public sector has been made. So, and at the same time, government could also able to save the taxpayers money from subsidizing the public sector activities and the loss that was happening from public sector activities. Then to promote the investment and also increase the increase the employability capacity of our economy, FDI has been liberalized. There are certain sectors which are given full freedom of 100% FDI, and foreign technology agreement will be accepted without any delay, so that the technology transfer, technology innovation will be happening because of this kind of agreement. So what is the outcome of the policy is that it abolished the license Raj system, and then it reduced fiscal burden. As I said, because of the disinvestment, the taxpayers money has been saved from subsidizing or giving it to the loss making PSUs. Such money was diverted for social sector initiatives. Say third is increased industry. Because of liberalizing the FDI and also disinvestment of FDI, there is increased participation from private sector, and the increased participation led to it led to multiplier effect, that is one led to another, and it lead to increased industry in India. As a result of increased industry, it led to increased employability opportunities in private sectors across India. But what is the limitation that the policy has faced is that the policy has promoted service sector, but it does not promoted the manufacturing sector. The growth of the manufacturing sector shows it has stagnated right from the implementation of the policy. Second is, even the reform, the license policy has been liberalized, and there are most of the sectors have been de-reserved for the public sectors, even though it does not promote the export driven growth, because this kind of liberalizing the industrial policy is not made in tune with the trade, liberalizing with trade related policy. So the trade related policy is still now facing some issues only. So it is not in tune with the liberalized industrial policy, as a result of which export driven growth has not happened in India. But on the other hand, consumption led growth happened, which led to high import dependence as well as increased our current account deficit. Third is, because of the disinvestment policy and liberalizing the FDI, it led to concentration of economic power in certain hands only. So this is what the critics full analysis about the news related to. So what we needed to study further is we should know about the National Manufacturing Policy 2011, and also we should know about the Competitive Commission Act. Then we should know about the foreign investment, and fourth we should know about the socialism, and as well as what does the capitalism is about. Then UPSC prelims question: in the index of 8 core industry, which one of the following is given the highest weightage? The answer is the electricity generation. The top 3 sectors that is given higher weightage is refinery industry, electricity industry, and steel industry. These are the top 3 of the 8 core industry that have been given higher weightage. So from this option, electricity is given. Electricity is the highest weightage sector. UPSC mains question: industrial growth rate has lagged behind in the overall growth of gross GDP in the post-reform period. Give reason. How far the recent change in industrial policy is capable of increasing industrial growth rate? 250 words, 15 marks. So I want those students, please do comment answer point for the question you are seeing right now on the board. So dengue outbreak in Bangladesh sparks alarm. So right now 364 persons have been died because of the dengue in Bangladesh, and there are 78,000 people who have been infected since January this year in Bangladesh, and then 100 people have died this month only, this month itself. So this is the news related to the dengue outbreak. How we needed to relate it with the exam is that it will be coming under UPSC GS3 Science and Technology under a subtopic called Awareness in the Field of IT, Space, Computer, Robotics, Nanotechnology and Biotechnology. So since the news is related to dengue, let's discuss about the dengue. It is the viral disease which is caused by dengue virus, and it is transmitted to human through a bite of infected mosquitoes, and nearly some 100 to 400 million infections are happening every year across the world, and dengue vaccine is the only vaccine that has been approved for the treatment of dengue, and there is no specific treatment for dengue, and the dengue will be happening mostly in tropical as well as subtropical countries. Right now, what is the status of the dengue is that 39 crore dengue infection have been happening around the world for a year. In that 9.6 crore people will be showing symptoms according to the data of WHO. Then India till the date of September 2022 has 63,280 dengue cases. So this kind of severity tools. So this is the transmission cycle of the dengue. The Aedes aegypti mosquito will be the carrier for transmitting the dengue virus. It will be biting the dengue infected person, and the dengue virus will get injected into the mosquito, and the dengue virus will take some 8 to 10 days to incubate, and after it incubated, the infected mosquito will be biting another person and another healthy person, and the dengue virus will be injected into him, and some 4 to 13 days later he will be developing a dengue fever. So this is how the transmission goes. So methods right now that has been used to control dengue is Wolbachia bacteria. The Wolbachia bacteria is the bacteria that has been inserted into the mosquito in Indonesia. Why it has been inserted into the mosquito is that when it is breeding with other mosquito, it will be surely that other mosquito which is breeding with the infected Wolbachia infected mosquito, then that mosquito will also be catching the Wolbachia bacteria, and it will be leading to death of the mosquito. So this kind of activity has been implemented in Indonesia to reduce the dengue mosquito, and it has shown a result also. Nearly 77% of the dengue mosquito has been reduced in the Indonesia. Second is the dengue vaccine which has been approved recently for treatment of dengue. And right now in India, the National Center for Disease Control is been implementing the initiatives related to controlling of dengue. So how we have to know about the details about it also. Its origin is Central Malaria Bureau at Kausali in 1909, and it is the nodal agency for communicable diseases. What is the purpose of it is that it will be doing the surveillance activity to check whether there is any kind of outbreaks, and it will do a preventive and will adopt the preventive mechanism to stop the outbreaks, and it will be controlling the outbreaks after it has happened. These are all the activities will be done under the NCDC, and that is National Center for Disease Control, and it is the nodal agency to train the specialized manpower in relation to implementing these kind of activities, and it is headquartered in Delhi. So this is what the news is related to. So what we needed to study further is we should know about the bacterial, parasites and virus diseases. What are the other bacterial, parasites as well as virus diseases, and we should know about the National Health Policy 2017. And third is we should know about the communicable as well as non-communicable diseases. So this is the question which was asked 2023 prelims. The Wolbachia method is sometimes talked about with reference to which one of the following? Controlling the viral diseases spread by the mosquito is the correct answer, which I have explained in the previous slide. This was the question asked in 2023 prelims. So ISRO trial for manned mission. Despite the busy schedule of the ISRO with the Chandrayaan 3, the ISRO is going to test its crew escape system through the first test vehicle mission. The test vehicle mission, through which the crew escape system is going to be tested, is the single stage liquid propellant rocket, which is meant to test all the systems of Gaganyaan, and it is the first test vehicle mission which check the process for aborting the mission in the mid-air, so that the parachute will bring the abort mission will bring the will enable the crew to land safely in the land of the earth through the parachute system. And this system will also be tested through test vehicle mission. All the components will be tested through the single stage liquid propellant test vehicle mission. So this is what the news is related to. How it is related to UPSC is that it is related to GS3 Science and Technology under awareness in field of IT, space, computer, robotics, nanotechnology and biotechnology. Okay, let's look into the mission, the Gaganyaan mission. It is the mission by ISRO, and it carries and it will be the first manned mission by Government of India to carry 3 astronauts, which includes 1 woman, and it will be carrying the astronaut to lower Earth orbit, which is some 300 to 400 km from the Earth. And it will have 2 types of payload. One is crew model, under which the crews mean the persons will be there, and the service model, where the liquid propellants of the rocket will be there. And then it will be equipped, the payload will be equipped along with emergency escape system and also emergency mission abort system, and it will be launched through GSLV Mk3, a 3-stage launch vehicle will be carrying it to the space. And what is the significance of this is that it is the mission which will inspire the youth, because it involves major stakeholders in formation, and after its successful implementation it will enable youth to have some interest in the science and technology field. And also by mastering the human space mission technology, it will be leading to further enhancement in the human space mission technology and other related space technology in India. Third is the regional need. Right now the International Space Station is the only space station which is shared by most of the country. It could not able to satisfy the needs of every country. So by mastering the human space technology, we ourselves could able to build a space station which could be able to satisfy the regional need like food, water and other security related need. And then it will lead to self-reliance. That is, if the technology has been very successful, means then it will be leading to mastering of technology, and it will reduce India from depending on other countries. So from now on we could able to make the human technology by ourselves, and then it will be leading to other social benefits also. So these are all the significance of the human space mission, but it has some challenges, because whenever the persons are traveling from the place where there is gravity and to the place where there is no gravity, there will be some psychological as well as behavioral issue will be there. Second is the pure oxygen, if they are going to carry, means there is high chance that the oxygen will catch fire in the no gravity area. So what we needed to study further, apart from the details which we have seen, analysis which we have seen above, is we have to know about Chandrayaan 3 of government of India. Second is we should know about Shukrayaan mission. Then third we should know about New Space India Limited, and fourth is should know about the space policy of India, which will be available in the government website itself. So this was the question asked relation to the space science and technology. Discuss India's achievement in the field of space science and technology. How do the application of this technology has helped India in its socio-economic development? 15 more. So please do comment, answer my further question. So we have reached the end of the session. So do like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so that you will be receiving the daily notification in relation to the current affair, and also other important news that will be posted in the Ganesh IAS YouTube channel in the near future. So thank you.